so in the interest of time, let's get started. A very warm welcome back on the second half of the day one of this particular conference. I'm so pleased to see the amount of crowd, the people, the participants, and the amount of enthusiasm that the Jakarta folks and the Indonesian folks have towards Ajay. How much will that cultivate into Ajay in your normal behavior? That is something left to be seen later. So what we are going to talk. You know, in every organization, whenever you work, at the end of the year, what happens? There's something called performance appraisals. How many of you love that performance appraisals? I hate it for two reasons. One, I have to do for others, and mine gets done by the boss. So both the places I'm in trouble. One, that when you do it for your own people, people reporting or working with you, then you have to be very truthful to them. Don't copy, I'll give it to you. No, I'll give it to you, don't worry. You can take my laptop also. I can always tell my company I lost it, so give me a new one. So, you know, those are the tricks to get a new laptop. So, you can just leave your card with me, and or if you want later on copy it from me, I'll copy the session. So, doing performance appraisals is always a challenging job. And especially when you are doing it in a concept called Ajay, life becomes a lot more difficult. Why? Because Agile is a concept where everything works in a team. It's a team game. It is not you versus me. It is nowhere a developer versus a tester. It's all of us put together. We as a team work together to deliver something, some solution to the customer. Now, having said all of this, okay, what is a popular sport in Indonesia? Soccer? Football? Soccer. I'm sorry. Badminton? Well, in badminton also, you need two players to play, right? And when you play doubles, Indonesian had one, what's that guy, Lee? You had a number one.
We had.
Yeah, who was in scandal of drugs or something, but banned for 6 years. Yeah. I follow badminton, but I forgot the name. So, the idea is that when you play soccer, you need 11 people. Football, you need 11 people. One guy cannot play the game. And now out of those 11 guys, then you decide one guy that guy is the best. No, that guy can't be the best because he was helped by 10 others. Same concept when you apply it in Agile. Agile is made up of, as what Jeff Sutherland and Ken Schwaber in their latest release of Scrum Guide say, 3 to 9 people maximum. So if you have 9 people, then how can I do a performance appraisal for a single individual when all 9 of them are equally important within the team? You know, it is something like this. You all are sitting on a chair, and if you notice, each of the chairs has 4 legs. Imagine one of the leg is broken or a little short or a little up, the chair is uneven. Same concept happens in Agile. You have a group of people working together, and even if one doesn't perform, the entire team performance will go down. So it is all about a team. It's at the end of the day, and that's the reason the name of the session is individual performance in a team game. When the game is of the team, how can I review and evaluate an individual for that matter? Having said that, now these are two assumptions that I have made. One is audience would be aware of Agile and related elements like you know what is Scrum, XP and others. And the second point is very important, and all of us are happy with the last performance appraisal. Yes, no? If you are happy, then this is a wrong session. You all can leave. I have no issues. But if you are not happy, then that's the session that you should be attending. So that was a pun intended kind of a start. You know, I do visit a lot of countries, and last time when I was watching my passport, I realized that I have 48 visas of 48 different countries. So I visited 48 countries in a career of 29 years. Yet lot many, as per United Nations, there are 181 countries. I still have to cover a lot of ground. I was visiting China, and in China, when I was doing a section on Agile, one of the participants during the lunch break asked me a question: how do I do performance management of my team? We were talking Agile, and that was the question that came up. And that was a time when I decided, yes, it's time that we try to speak about it. Because do remember, Ajay talks about everything except for the softer part of the Ajay. We talk about servant leadership, we talk about team collaboration, trust and everything. But at the end of the day, that is again something very important to call as performance appraisal. And guess what? I was not very surprised when this question was asked, that how do I do performance appraisal of my team? And who was the guy who asked me? The Scrum Master. The guy who should have least amount of interest in all the performance appraisals was the person in China asking me the question, how do I do my performance appraisals of my team? And that was like a surprising question for me. And then when I digged into the material available, I realized there is hardly any material available on this particular topic. Scrum Alliance doesn't talk about it. Scrum.org doesn't talk about it. No Scrum manuals talk about it. No Scrum guide is talking about it. So this is a subject where there is no answers available as of today. So performance appraisals and compensation questions are frequently at the front row seat of every organization. I'm sure you and I also look forward for it. A lot of us will look forward for appraisals just because the money is going to increase. We have always forgotten to understand what is the meaning of an appraisal. The meaning of an appraisal is not money. I remember last time when one of my appraisals happened with my organization, I told my boss, I don't need an increment. So my boss looked at me as if I was from a different planet. What are you talking? Are you okay? He actually touched me to see if I had a fever or not. And then I said, no, I don't need money. He said, what do you need? I said, I don't need increment. That guy was worried. He said, are you planning to leave? Are you planning to leave? That was his next question. I said, no, I'm happy. He said, then why are you behaving so irrationally? Why don't you need money? I said, I didn't say I didn't need money. All I said is, I don't need an increment. I realized one thing in my life. If you can't convince the management, confuse them. It works. It actually works. I confused. So this guy, the CEO of the organization who was supposed to be my boss, he asked me, what do you need? I said, inflation adjust my salary. You know what is inflation? Cost of living goes up every year. Yeah. I said, adjust my salary as per the inflation. So whatever was my living standard as of yesterday should be my living standard as of tomorrow also. So you offer me 3%, 5%, 10% doesn't make any sense to me. If the living standards have risen by 20%, you offering me 5% and saying, you know, you are on the top ranking performer of the team and you get 5%. You know what I'm talking. Yeah. So that is the whole idea, that it is the front seat of every organization, and agile organizations are no different. Agile organizations are no different. It is possibly one of the most deep-rooted problems of our industry. Everyone wants it, everyone is unhappy. If you really want to find talent, figure out the appraisal cycle of every organization and 2 months later you will find all the resumes floating in the market. That is what I used to see in America. I used to work in America for a company called JP Morgan Chase. 10th January was supposed to be their envelope day, which means that is the day when the results of your previous year is getting declared. And let me tell you, by 31st January all the bonuses and everything were paid. On 1st of February, you will find people resigning in the organization. So it's a deep-rooted problem. Performance appraisal is not that simple and that easy to conduct, especially because you are in a people-centric organization. Remember, the IT industry, what is the basic raw material of the IT industry? Laptops? No, it's the brain here. The brain. Rest everything is accessories for me. It's only the brain that works in this industry. The brain makes everything else work. So the raw material of this industry is the least respected element of this industry. Having said that, look at our traditional projects. Our traditional projects, we always talk about the heroic culture, individual training needs, individual contribution. We are rating against each other. You and I are a part of the team. You get rated against me, I get rated against you. On that one day, out of 365 days, on all 364 days, we have to collaborate. Forget it! You want me to collaborate with this guy and then he is getting rated against me and then he gets better increment than me? No way! But that's how this world is working. We live in a real hard world. How are we going to solve this problem? That is basically what I am trying to attempt in this particular. I'll also carry forward one example of how I did this in one organization when we did consulting for that particular organization. So when you talk about Agile is all about collaboration, customer focus, teamwork, mentoring, helpful people, approachability, personality, so on and so forth. That is all about Agile. But when it comes to appraisals, this all goes out of the window. So you and I have to start becoming a lot more pragmatic, a lot more practical and see, can the bell, no, don't take it, I'll give it to you. Don't take that effort, save your memory. this. Tell me how you will measure me and I'll tell you how I will behave going forward. You measure me and my behavior changes. What time your offices start? 8, 9. What time do you guys come? 8, 10, 9:15. Right?
Yes.
And then what do you? Traffic. Jakarta traffic. You can always blame it on Jakarta traffic. And everyone will agree. But the point is you already know this problem. Why did you plan for it? Now you go and tell people, I'm going to measure every day that you walk in the office. I guarantee you people will be at 7:59 inside. The moment you start measuring, the behavior pattern of people will change. I remember a long time back when I used to be a project leader in one of the organizations. I have to be very honest that the quality of the code that we used to produce was pathetic. Pathetic, I'm telling you. I was a bad manager and a bad quality was getting produced. So one day the manager sent me an email to the group of people that we had that your bonuses will depend on the quality defects that we get from the customer. Oops. Who was worried about the quality? We all were worried about the bonus. The KRAs will not be met. So we went down into a huddle and then we decided a very interesting strategy. What was the strategy? That we will not record any. In those days I used to use a tool called Lotus 123. I don't know how many of you know that. I come from the dinosaur days. I'm a primitive character, 29 years of industry experience, primitive character. So those days there used to be tools like Word Perfect, Word Star, Lotus 123. So I used to use a tool called Lotus 123 and all the defects used to get recorded that were reported by the customer. And the management used to look at that particular Lotus 123 to realize how many defects have come from the customer. So we all had a discussion of how to prevent the bonuses from getting sacrificed. So one guy said, we'll not record any defect in Lotus 123. That was a brilliant idea, but then some other guy said, how come? If you don't even have one defect, then you are going to be in trouble because all of a sudden the quality got improved. That idea got rejected. Then later on, after 10 minutes, more brainstorming. The brainstorming is a great idea, I have to tell you. I became a real fan that day of the brainstorming activity. And then the next brainstorming happened. The next brainstorming came out with an idea. For every 10 defects we get, 3 defects will officially record. You can always tell the management, no, 0 defect software is anyway not possible. And out of 10 defects, now we have reduced to 3. But we were good guys. We will fix all 10, but officially record only 3. Hey, we were genuine. So we all patted ourselves back. Great master stroke strategy. We went and implemented. We went down to our teams and we told our teams, you will not record any defect in Lotus 123, I will do it. The team was very happy, manager wants to do documentation. Great. The team was happy. Job done. End of the first month, everything hunky-dory, no problems, everything was perfect. On the 5th business day of the second month, the management sent us a message, guys, your productivity has gone down. Oh, we are working late, we come Saturday, we don't go home, we are sitting here. How come? So we all marched into the manager's cabin and he said, no, not now, at 2 o'clock. We'll do the meeting. Let me tell you, that was the day when 2 o'clock was not even happening on my watch. I was so waiting anxiously that because the best part is, he's saying he has data, but all the data comes from us. What data does he have that I don't have? Data creator is here and that guy saying he has data. I was surprised. So we had 2 o'clock happened. We passed in with all our timesheets and all the data and thrown up to him and said, this is all it is. He said, I agree with all that you have, but I have my own data. So we asked him, what is that? He said, earlier to fix 10 defects you used to take so much time. Now to fix 3 defects you still take so much time. We couldn't have told him the truth, no? That we still have 10 defects, we are only officially recording 3, you would have got dead there. So the whole concept that I'm trying to tell you is that if you're going to measure something and you tell me what you're going to measure, my behavior will change. So your measurements, we all love to do measurements, no? Effort variance, schedule variance, defect density, resource utilization. I love those real numbers. But what do you do with them? How is the software getting produced? Remember the Agile manifesto, the Agile principle says, working software is the true measure of progress. Forget everything else. And that is one thing that we don't do. We still try to see, people you after lunch, after half an hour I am not seeing you in the office. That is how we react. That is how the management reacts. So you have to be very careful about it as you go forward. I love this Dilbert cartoon. I'm not going to read it. It's for you to read it. I'll just wait for 30 seconds and then move on. The IT people got started paying for the overtime and defects, we would have been millionaires. Forget Jakarta and Bali, you and I would have been sitting in Honolulu right now. That's the kind of money we would have. IT industry is the only industry in the entire world that pays you to do that wrong job and then again pays you to fix that wrong job. You couldn't have had a better industry. That's the best business model that you would have. Think about it. We are in an intelligent industry, I should say. Okay, moving on. So again, that Scrum Master was still asking me, should I take over the responsibilities of doing the performance appraisal? Because I'm the closest to the team. I work with the team on a daily basis. Shouldn't I be doing it? One needs to understand one very important point. Scrum Master is in service to the team. They don't manage the team. Scrum Masters don't manage the team. They don't control the team. They are there only to assist the team. They are there only to help the team. And if you are there to help the team, then you cannot be having the policy of command and control. The moment you have the policy of command and control, you would have lost it. There is no difference between a traditional PMP project manager versus a Scrum Master. By the way, a lot of us, we still do Agile under the mask of, or we still do Waterfall under the mask of Agile. How many times in your sprint cycles or your iteration cycles do you get a change and you still accept the change? We all do, right?
Yes.
Keep the hand on your heart. Tell the truth. We all do. So where are we doing Ajay? Ajay is only namesake. It's like the flavor of the game. Today it is strawberry and tomorrow it is vanilla chocolate. So likewise, we have Waterfall, Agile, some new thing called DevOps as a bird is flying in the air. 3 years later it will be DevOps and 5 years later it will be BizOps and then there is something called Security Ops. These are all the things which are already in the market and we are still struggling with it. So that is the whole idea. So you need to think about. But the idea is, what is it? The Scrum Master is closest to the team, yes. But what is the role of the Scrum Master? The role of the Scrum Master is to give feedback. Yes, give feedback, but not from an appraisal point of view. Give feedback on their improvements, help people understand their behavior, their results, coach the people, help the team become self-organizing, all of that. But giving an appraisal cycle, sorry, you come out of it. You don't interfere in the appraisal cycles. This is what I really want a good Scrum Master to do. Be a servant leader, monitor, track, report, process check, quality, resolve impediments, resolve conflicts, shield the team from others. Performance feedback, that is no. Performance feedback of the application, I have no issues. The performance feedback of an individual, never ever do it kind of a stuff is what we are doing. Now do remember, every work that I do or every work you and I do is all interdependent. If I do something, I need you to complete it. If you do something, you need her to complete it. So everything is interdependent. So how can you rate me against you and you against her and she against me? It's all illogical in the world. But then you all must be wondering, why is this guy after a performance appraisal? No, but there are solutions to it. And that is what I'm going to present in a couple of slides from now. Managers are required to do performance appraisal because it's a routine. It's a routine like every day you get up in the morning, go to your washroom, take a bath, come out, wear new clothes. It's a routine. Similarly in organizations, it's a routine. Oh, year has ended, let's do performance appraisals. What is the meaning of performance appraisals? Why they should be done? How many times have we educated the world? No. That is not that we are supposed to do. That's none of our job. So the real world is all, we try to rate people into fair, poor, good, great. I remember last year when in my organization the performance appraisal was supposed to happen, the HR, human resource team management called me and said, Ajay, you can't give 2 people 580. We have to decide a bell curve. God bless me. That means if you deserve a 5, I have to give you 4. Now you cry with me, I cry with you, and then you leave. And when you leave, do you realize every organization has something called notice period? Do you know what is the meaning of notice period? That the organization starts noticing you after you resign. That is the meaning of notice period. Organization starts noticing, oh, that was a guy, he was a great performer, why does he want to leave? You didn't realize it earlier? So do remember, notice period is a concept where the organization starts So if you want to be in the limelight, resign every 6 months. You're always in the limelight of the system. That's the way it is. But jokes apart, these are challenges that you and I need to think about. And I really like this verse. You see the picture. This is what we carry, the dagger in the hand. You always want to stab the other guy. Why? Because if he goes ahead of you, you are in trouble. You are in trouble. I don't know about Indonesia, but you know, India as a country has a lot of social stigma. What do I mean by social stigma? You are working for 6 years and you don't have a manager designation? It's a problem, huh? Your family will start wondering this. I remember at one point in time when a lot of people from India used to go to America. Some of my Indian colleagues will agree with me. There is a state in India called Andhra Pradesh, where you would only get married or the family will give you the daughter if you're going to US. Otherwise no. And then there was a reverse trend when the H1 stopped, and if you're going to US, you don't get married. Because you don't get any wife there. Because you are going to US and there is uncertainty. So the world floats in that manner. That's how the social stigma. So this is what it is. Appraisals foster low trust competition. Remember, at the end of the day in Agile, there is only one word that is important. Trust. And let me be honest, everywhere in the world, every organization that I visited, there is a trust deficit. You and I don't trust each other. Why do you need a status report? And what do you do of the status? All of us have developed status reports. Once in a life. Sure? Weekly?
Weekly.
Bi-weekly, monthly, whatever that may be. If you are developing it weekly, how many times do you see a status report which was developed 6 months ago, you pick it up? What you do is you only pick up the last status report because you have to do control C, control V. Take the last format. No value. So you are fostering low trust competition in the team rather than self-organizing and trying to meet the needs of the customer. We have tried to create competition between teams rather than individuals. We are trying to create competition within the team itself. I would rather say if this is one team and this is one team, I'd rather create competition between two teams than create competition within the team. When you create competition within the team, you are creating more trouble in the system. Never create competition within the team. I love this slide. I'm not again going to read it, it's for you to consume and understand the punch in it. So that is what? From the fear of appraisals, we do everything in the world that should have not been done. Alright, so what are some of the techniques of doing appraisals for Agile world? Here is one of the tips. Rather than give individuals performance goals, give the team a performance goal. So everyone in the team has the same goal. Everyone works towards the same entity. It's like your football, we have to win the match. Whether you win it by 2 goals or by 7 goals, it doesn't matter, we need to win the match and move to the next round. It's a team goal, it's not an individual goal that you will score the goal. Anybody in the 11 people, including the goalkeeper, can run forward and score the goal at least in football. So the whole concept is we need to win. And if you need to win, then everyone in the team needs to have the same goal. You cannot have different goals in the organization. So by giving each member of the team the same goal, you have just implemented a team goal. So that is a concept that you need to work upon as you go forward. Now performance reviews of an appraisal team should be done on a regular basis rather than once upon a year event. Remember, performance appraisals are once in a year event. It's like your Eid. Ramadan comes once in a year. You don't need Ramadan once in a year. What I'm saying here is Ramadan every sprint. So you need to do performance appraisals at the end of every sprint. That is exactly what we are trying to do. And how to do it is what I'm going to be showing you. Don't do performance appraisals once in a year. How many times it has happened that you are working for a whole year, by the 10th month your manager left. The new guy comes in. New guy has no clue who you are. He is already worried about his own position. Why will he worry about you? And then he has to do performance appraisals about you, and for last 10 months what you did, good, bad, ugly, he has no clue. And then you're going to do a performance appraisal with that guy for last 2 months. If you take him out for tea, coffee, possibly you have saved yourself, otherwise you're in trouble. So the whole idea is, leave away the performance appraisals once upon a year event. It should be done regular. Now what is regular? How many times do you do retrospective in a sprint?
Once.
Once? At the end of the sprint,
Yes.
implement performance appraisal as a cycle of your retrospect. Once every sprint. How to do that? Slides coming up. Now I'm really giving you templates, sir. You can use it. This is a sprint report card from the customer to the Agile team, not the product owner, the customer who's ultimately going to use your solution. He is giving a report to the Agile team. So the name of the project, the sprint number, the sprint dates, the review date, and these are the 4 parameters. Now, are these standard parameters? No. You decide the parameters that you want and use it. Guys, don't take photographs. I will give you the slides. Focus with me. See, remember, when you take photographs, you don't listen because we are not multitasking. Though the world believes that you and I are supposed to be multitasking, you can only do one task at a time. Take my laptop, I'm telling you. Sachin, you're not listening. Otherwise, he'll tell he instigated people to rob his laptop. He is my colleague there. Okay. So what are we trying to talk? The customer is telling the team the value of the delivery in terms of quantity, business value. What have you delivered? You rate it on a score of 0 to 100, where 100 is good, 0 is bad. Similarly, do committed stories work as expected? Was the time frame commitment met? Is the UI intuitive, professional and pleasing? The customer is giving you a scorecard based on his or her thought process of what you did in last 2 weeks with him. And based on that, some additional comments and other things. So I'll show you a filled up one. This is what it is. So on a score, on various parameters, this particular guy called Simon Reed, I hope nobody is Simon here. Simon Reed, the chief marketing officer of this particular solution, has given this feedback to the team. And this feedback comes every 2 weeks. So I exactly know how the team is working. So this is a feedback that comes from the management to the team. So this is only one part of it. Now this is a PO report card to the development team. The product owner is giving a report card to the development team and telling the development team, how well did you work? Now if you again notice, how did the team work? Teamwork, collaboration, helpfulness, the team's ability to deliver their commitments, team's overall technical ability, team's ability to react to changes. Do you accept changes? Remember, the second principle of Ajay, we accept changes late in development to harness the customer's competitive advantage. Team's ownership of the customer needs and some additional comments. And this is how the scoring has been done. And this scoring is done every 2 weeks. Now someone will say, oh, it's so difficult, once in a year was okay. Let me catch someone. You eat lunch every day? Yes, no? Today is what? Wednesday? Yes? What did you have for lunch last Tuesday? Not yesterday, last Tuesday. Difficult to remember, right? How will you remember a year-old data? And give performance appraisals where people's emotions have been attached to it. So the idea is collect data at source. As soon as it is created, it should be captured. Don't erode the data. The moment you try to delay the data, the accuracy of information will get eroded. Accuracy will be a challenge. So that is why I recommend to do this every 2 weeks. If you have a weekly sprint, do it weekly. If you have a monthly sprint, do this monthly. But do it at the end of every sprint. So this is a PO report card. Now this is a review of the PO by the development team. So the development team is not telling the product owner, you gave us a review, now we are telling you how you worked with us. Were your stories good? Were you available to the team? Was your speed of answering to the team good? What were your leadership skills with us? So now we are evaluating the product owner. And remember, it's a reciprocal. You evaluate me, I evaluate you. Reciprocal, and on paper, data has been given. So if you run a 2-week sprint, in a year you have 26 sprints, you will have 26 data points, enough to understand how really the team worked. This is Scrum Master's report card to the development team. The development team to the Scrum Master. The development team is not telling the Scrum Master, how well you worked with us. Did you take ownership of all the problems? Did you solve our problems? Were your coaching good? Did you do good coaching with us? Knowledge of your skill or Scrum methods? Or normally you go and ask the Scrum Master a question, he says, I'll get back to you. Basically he's saying, I'm going to Google finding the answer and coming. Simple. So does he have the answers? If he doesn't have the answers, then the knowledge of Agile and Scrum methods are a challenge, are a big question mark. Ability to effectively facilitate team meetings. Is he watching his WhatsApp during the team meetings or is he involved in the meetings? That is what you and I have to think. So the development team gives a message to the Scrum Master. Now remember, all of this takes approximately half an hour. It's not a big deal to spend that extra half an hour to do this. Team member peer review. So if we all are a part of the team, you will do my review, you will do their review, he will do all of us a review. So everyone fills this up. How good were our collaboration skills? Were you helpful to the rest of the team? What were your technical expertise? Ownership of the team delivery. So everyone gives a feedback to everyone. And all this cannot be done in Excel, though I'm showing you an Excel format here. This all has to be automated through a tool. And because it's automated through a tool, at a click of a button, the summarization is available. And you can compare sprint 1 to sprint 2 to sprint 3. You can actually watch trends. Are we improving? Are we stagnated? Have we deteriorated? What is there? Is there one area that we have increased and the other area we have deteriorated? What are the challenges? Why someone has got a lower score as compared to the other guy? What was he doing? What are his ownerships? What are the training requirements he has? Does he require more mentorship? Does he require coaching? All this can be identified and you can solve the problem there and there itself, rather than wait for the whole year and then realize and say, you know, guess what? You did not do this. Your rating has been tanked. Oh. So involve people. That's exactly what I'm trying to highlight. And this is a complete project report card that comes out on the overall project. So doing all of this will give you a lot of value on a bi-weekly or a sprint by sprint basis or an iteration basis. Doesn't matter whether your sprint is 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, whichever time length that you decide of the sprint, at the end, during the retrospective, spend half an hour to do this. For the first 2 sprints, I can tell you it will be a challenge to implement all of this because it's a new concept. You rate me, I rate you. You scratch my back, I scratch your back, we are happy. But remember, over a period of time, it has to start reflecting reality. It's, you know, when you start doing planning poker, everyone on day 1 will say it is 20 story points without even realizing it. But over a period of time, people start realizing it that it's hurting us. And I will tell you, over a period of time, things normalize. Always it will happen. So worry about these things as a concept, as a system, as we move forward. Now do remember, annual, appraisals will be annual. Meaning the collation of the data happens on a bi-weekly basis, but the result will always come once in a year. Results are still coming once in a year by the line manager. So we gather, we collect the data, and because it's in the tool, everything is available. Average the team score for all the sprint report cards, project report cards, all of this, query of key workers and all that kind of stuff. You get all of this. Now let me give you a real case study. I implemented this entire concept in one organization. There were 3 teams on which we implemented, and I have to be honest, 2 teams it went through, 1 team it was a disaster. Absolute disaster. There was a revolt in the team against this entire approach. For the 2 teams within that same organization, what really happened, we did this, at the end of the year we collated the data, and when we collated the data we presented to the management. Management said fine, it's okay. So these are the group of 9 people who are a part of the team. And do remember, the entire data was transparent. Everyone knew who gave what rating. Who got what rating, everyone had a clue. So there was no hidden agenda in the system. Now once that happened, the management then called the team and said, now we want to do inter-ranking between you. All 5 of you, can you inter-rank yourself? Remember, team is self-organized, self-managed, self-disciplined. The team did it for itself. So that means out of 9 people, 1 guy will be at the top and 1 guy will be at the bottom. And who is deciding that? The team. So that means you can't blame anybody else other than the team. And everyone knew based on the scores where we are. So there was no real surprises. Once that happened, then the management decided one next thing. Management said, now if that is a parameter, the first guy, the guy who is at the top, receives 20% of the increment bonus that we plan to give. So they had a kitty. They had planned so much amount of money to be distributed in the team, and based on the inter-ranking, the management then decided the first guy receives so much, the last guy receives so much. Who did that entire appraisal? The team. Management only gave the money. The distribution of the money was by the team, of the team, by the team. I'm not saying it is easier said than done. This is challenge. But remember, Agile is not easy. Agile requires maturity. Maturity of your thought process, maturity of your works, maturity of your collaboration, maturity of your team, the way you use your tools, your process, your culture. And do remember, this plays a bigger part in the entire cultural game. This is the biggest challenge. The only challenge where Agile has kept quiet, has no view on it, no Scrum Alliance, no Scrum.org, no books in the world talk about this. This has come out by experience by us. We have used all our experience to create this kind of a concept. It's time that the world starts adopting. If you are doing Agile if you are doing Agile, which means you are doing a different set of methodologies for doing your software development, then how can you have old traditional approaches of performance appraisal? That also needs to change. So the change is the only constant element in life that you and I need to worry about. Now do remember, whenever you introduce any new approaches, you will always face these things. Resistance to change. Why? We are always happy. Life was always good, comfortable. Why do you want to change it? Fear, revealing too much. Everyone will know that I was not working last sprint. The data is there in front of you. You can't hide under the carpet anymore. Loss of control. Loss of control for whom? The management. You better behave, otherwise your performance appraisal is in my hands. That control has been lost by the management. Because appraisals are done by the team. So there is a loss of control. Cheese mover, comfort zone. We were always comfort. I knew the manager likes me. He has a soft corner for me. I was always comfortable. This lets you out of your comfort zone. So these are challenges. A very important part in any Agile rollout is, now all of you are doing Agile and I am assuming you are either learning Agile or doing Agile. How many of your organizations or various departments in your organization, your HR is also Agile? So what is it talking, man? It's gone crazy. Unless your HR, admin, finance, travel become Agile, you guys doing Agile is like driving a Mercedes car with 3 Mercedes tires and 1 bicycle tire. And you know who the bicycle tire is. How many of your management guys, your CEOs, CXOs have been trained on Agile? He just put his hand up and then realized when he put it up. I'm going to be doing a session elsewhere in one conference where the top of the session is, what is the job description of a CEO of an Agile organization? How does the CEO need to behave as an Agile organization? We expect the development team to behave, we expect the teams to do everything in Agile, but does the management do Agile? If the management is not Agile, the team cannot be Agile. You can train the team, you can call hundreds of us, get the trainings done, give those planning poker cards and create all the posters, put all the banners, but the world will not be Agile, your organization will not be Agile unless the management is under Agile. So unless the management accepts it, it's a change, and change has to start from the top, not from the bottom. The point is we want the bottom to change, but the top wants to be steady. The top still wants it at the end of 2 weeks. Where is your PowerPoint presentation? Agile has no PowerPoint presentation. I had a very difficult time explaining a manager, trying to help him understand what is a burn down chart. Remember, burn down chart comes down like this. Management is always interested to see the chart going down. You see the difference? That guy was, but you are saying this is good. I said, yeah, it is burning down. No, but I like to see how. Then I realized, oh, he would love a burn up chart. So I turned everything around and showed him the burn up chart, and life was hunky-dory. You have to start understanding, get into the mindset of the management, get into their shoes, get into their mind and try to understand what they need. Remember, how many times, okay, again put your hand on the heart and tell me, how many times you believe, my manager really doesn't understand. I know I'm asking difficult questions, but I'll tell you, I still feel after 29 years that my current manager doesn't understand. Luckily he's not here. No, I'll take care of that. That's what we do now in command and control. You better keep quiet, otherwise you will see you are in trouble. That has to be avoided in this kind of a situation. So do remember, a very important part of any Agile organization is to align the performance evaluation system and other practices, HR practices, to what Agile emphasizes. So Agile is not for development team, Agile is for the organization. Even your security guard standing outside should behave in that Agile manner. If that guy cannot behave in Agile manner, your organization internally cannot do Agile, because the culture has to be right from the top to bottom, bottom to top. And you have no deviations allowed in this. Do you remember? Last but not the least, my final thoughts. It's a human nature for people to modify their behaviors. You tell me what you want and I'll behave accordingly. Not doing this causes dysfunction that will erode the team effectiveness. So the whole concept is, the whole culture is to tell people, don't worry about your performance appraisals, worry about the product, the solution that we have to give it to the customer. The moment you and I start worrying about that, life will become a lot more simple. How many of you believe that you do retrospectives? We all do retrospectives. How many of you believe the same problems occur sprint after sprint? You got my answers, right? So do we really do? So what are we doing? We are doing retrospective because someone is booked up in the calendar 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Friday evening, we have to do a retrospective. So I have to go there and stand and wait for half an hour and then keep on watching it. It's okay, we know the problems. Fine. They are same as last. You know, that is the only repeatability that we have in our system. That we copy the last retrospective, change the date, change the time, change the system, and we have everything. How many of you can count on your fingers the number of retrospective items that got improved, and because of that there was a change in this sprint? You and I will find it difficult to justify. So idea is, it's a change. And change has to happen in all parts of the organization, not only in the software development piece. I think that was it. Any questions that I can answer? Yes, dear.
When you said that the development team rates the Scrum Master, do they do that also individually?
Yes. No. As a team. As a team. So the PO will give it to the team. PO doesn't. So if you are the product owner and we all 6 of us are your team members, then you will give it to us as a group. And then there is a factoring, we had applied some formulas and factoring. Like for example, all of 5 of us are there for last 6 sprints, she has only come in this sprint. Then she cannot be rated on the same manner and other things, so we had some factoring and formulas been applied. But only the people, individual people give it to each other, but the Scrum Master, everyone gives it to the Scrum Master gives it to the team, the customer gives it to the team, the product owner gives it to the team, so it is not one-on-one kind of stuff. Otherwise, for the whole, you will have to implement one more sprint to only do performance appraisals. 1 and 2.
Can you share more about the team that rejected this change?
They were not, see again, it is not the entire team rejected. What happens in every team is you will always find 2 black sheeps in every team. That's always it. It's a way of life. The idea was that we did not anticipate that, because when we saw early successes coming out of 2 teams, we ourselves forgot that Agile means inspect and adapt, and what works in one team may not work in the other team. We ourselves as coaches, we actually forgot that. And we blindly picked up the ideas from here, implemented here, without taking this team into consideration, without even talking to them, without even engaging them. And that actually, when we did our retrospectives, we realized that it backfired.
So lack of buy-in.
Lack of buying in. It is not that people don't want increments. It's not that people don't want transparency. It's what they told us is, why are you pushing it on us? You could have discussed it with us. We would have given you 2 more new ideas. You could have implemented that. Our team is so different. And we actually gracefully accepted our mistake. Yes, we did a mistake. So that was lessons learned for us.
In management, we know that people paid by based on position, performance, and one again by people. And then what you said here is mostly for making for decided how many people could get for her performance. How we can decided how much he can earn for the salary.
Okay, there are 2 things. One is salary. Salary gets decided when the person joins the organization. That is none of my concern. My concern is the time is inside the organization and working for a team, then his future salary. I'm worried of its future salary. I'm not worried about when he comes in, what does he bring and how much does he get paid. He may be getting paid more than the CEO. I have no issues. But going forward, depending on his performance and the performance of the team and the way he behaves in the team, along with the team, should decide how much that percentage hike should be given. So when he comes in, I go with the industry standards or the org standards, whatever, the grade standards, whatever. Any other questions?
I'm a scrum master. How would I go about convincing management that doing the team performance is better?
You don't. You send them to me. I earn my friend, you also earn. Come on. The idea is first convincing the management that you have to do this, which itself is an indication to me that agile training or agile awareness has not been given to them. If I have to go and explain the management that this is what is expected and required, that's a clear indication that we have directly gone and jumped and directly trained, or we are hands on deck with the team. Your first hands on the deck has to be with the management. Forget the team. Remember, at all three levels, the top management buys you in. I never see a problem with the top management or the bottom layer. The problem is always the middle layer. The top management wants you, so you are in. The bottom guy says, you tell me what you want me to do. You want me to do salsa, I'll do salsa for you. No issues. That's the way it is. The middle layer is the guy who feels threatened by your presence. Is this the guy ready taking away my position? So you have to worry about that. And if I have to go and explain the management why performance appraisals have to be done in an agile manner and a different manner, it's a clear indication the maturity of the organization or our consulting sector. Remember, agile is not bad. ISO was not bad. CMMI is not bad. It's a consultants like me who make it. Because we go and tell them, if you don't do this, this will happen. Please do it. You try to justify your own existence. I come from a CMMI world. I know how people don't do this, the lead auditor will give you a non-compliance. Oh yeah, let's do it. So you and I fill documents for the sake of documents. Does the document help anyway? The answer is. Alright, I don't want to eat away in someone else's time. I'm available outside on a coffee. Outside, time boxing. Let's respect Ajay. So thank you for being with me.